being in the position where you can lift somebody higher and you can be that ladder of success to them. Avail yourself, discern between the people that are out there to use you and the people that just really needs your help as well. Giving that underdog an opportunity. The industry is big enough for everyone. Be a good person. Be a good person, have a good heart. Give people chances. Keep filling that bag of goods, and hopefully one day you have more than enough to give back to the world. So let's not be selfish. Let's not have a single-minded mindset. Let's not be overly confident about ourselves. Remain humble. Give. It's about kindness. It's about patience. It's about love. And just love each other.
We began as an open mic.
Young creatives simply wanting to express ourselves.
As we supported each other, we started to witness the greatest within.
And without knowing, we grew into a talent hub.
As we began to detail our craft,
we found the courage to share our gift with the world.
From merchandise to the sold-out theatre productions.
To all the amazing people we met and collaborated with along the way.
The process of creating art helped us overcome our fears.
By teaching us
the power of art. We are here to tell you.
We're here to tell you.
We're here to tell you.
We are here to tell you.
We are here to tell you.
It's possible.
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 I'm Chad Isaacs, and this is Raw.
Ladies and gents, we have a very, very, very special guest in the house tonight. This young creative, he's a singer, he's a dancer, she was a presenter at one point, she has traveled the world, she has multiple songs on radio stations nationwide. She was signed by Mr. Loyiso Bala himself. She is with us tonight. She goes by the name of Miss Zoe Zana.
And the crowd goes wild.
Zoels!
How's it, buddy?
Lekker. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it so much.
No problem. It's good to be here.
You've been through so much, not only, in your personal capacity, in your career. And firstly, let me say I'm so proud of you, all your achievements. It's insane. Just like your journey from when you sort of entered in the industry to where you are now, what are some of the things that helped you? What was like your driving force behind you continuing, just to keep progressing in the industry?
Mm-hmm. Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome.
It's always a good time whenever you're around. So I'm so
appreciate
privileged
that.
to be here.
I appreciate that.
I think what really drives me is definitely the fact that I know it's my purpose. I know it's the calling upon my life. So no matter what else I find myself doing, I don't find that same fulfillment. So I know no matter what it is that I have to do to stay in the lane that I know I was created for, I will use my abilities to access future endeavors. I will use my abilities to practice what I love doing. So what keeps me driven is definitely the fact that I know it is what I'm supposed to do, and no matter how difficult it becomes, it doesn't ever shift my view from that. I'm just here because I have to be, and I'm going to continue doing what I have to do in order to shine and in order to inspire and motivate somebody else that also feels that same way about their gift and their purpose.
I think that's such an amazing answer to a very complicated question. I apologize. Dude, like everything that you've said hits home with me in my own personal beliefs. And I think there's something in serving others when you're doing something, when you know that you're born with a specific gift, and especially when it's involving helping others, whether it's being a doctor, or whether it's being a vet, or whether it's being a caregiver, or inspirational or motivational speaker, or artist, or a dancer. When you have something that can can influence someone else's view on life, and you have a gift which serves others, the driving force is so much stronger than if it's just something that can serve yourself.
Facts.
You know, and that's what I loved about you, because I mean, we've talked, we've had so many amazing conversations, real conversations. You know, not only about your past, but also about the industry, you know, and how passionate you are, you know, in your own personal capacity to do whatever you can to make a difference. And it's not just about Zoe Zana and how can Zoe Zana gain.
Yes.
You know, it's always about how can Zoe Zana help other people gain.
Inspire.
And that dude, like I'm a fan of yours. Besides your amazing talent, just your heart alone is amazing.
Same.
I mean, you know, we actually met a long time ago, you know,
eight or 9 years
9 years randomly, and we only sort of developed a good relationship in the last few months.
Yes.
When you so graciously, you know, so gracious, someone of your heights, I was so honored and privileged, and I want to say this on air. I was so honored and privileged when I asked you to perform, and you so graciously said yes, that you will come and support the movement. That meant a lot to me, because someone of your stature and someone with your status does not need to. You know, you can pick and choose. You're in that situation where you can pick and choose what gigs that you want to perform at. So I was so humbled by you just being so cool, so just so pleasant in your nature, communicating with you, performing, and then afterwards I remember I still hugged you. Like after you performed, I was
that
like,
moment is everything.
It was crazy. It was like, you just, because for me, just jumping into, I mean, the fact that you can fucking sing like proper. So. I played the guy some stuff like, you know, it's like insane. And
I appreciate that.
I mean, with Ro, I've met a lot of people. I've met a lot of singers, you know, along the way. And when you hear someone sing on because I have a studio, so I understand what can be done, you know, pitch correct, you know, a little reverb, a little delay can do amazing things. But when you sort of you hear someone, but you've never seen them live, and then they're better, I love that.
You never saw me live before then?
Yeah, that was my first time where I saw you live, and I was just like, it felt good, you know, because when you, I'm sure, and I'm talking way too much because this is actually the spotlight, but
go for it. I'm enjoying just being able to listen to you, actually.
I apologize. Sure. The crew is absolutely mad with me right now because I go on these rants and it lasts too long, and they're like, listen, bro,
it's your platform,
next interview, can you just let the guests speak a bit more? but all of my guests, I'm fans of this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm literally a fan of yours. You know, besides us being like you've got amazing talent, which I'm just so grateful to know you, bro. So let me ask you a question. Let me just ask. let me ask Zoe some questions.
Let's stick to why I'm here.
Listen, bro. If you could go back like 15 years ago, right? And and let me, before I ask the question, the aim is for all people, for all artists or creatives that was or are in the situation that you were in, how do they get out? That's the aim of the question. So my question is, if you 15, let's say, you know, 10 years ago, if you met this young, you know, talented Zoe Zana, what is the core do's and don'ts that you would tell her?
Okay, I'd say, or rephrase that in a way that the question I'd state then to myself would be, what would I have done differently? Because do's and don'ts differ, I think, 100%. For everybody and whatever the situation that they find themselves in. For me personally, having finished school in 2012 and like jumping head on into the industry the following year after high school, I think was the most detrimental thing that I could have done for my personal growth as a person, for my creativity, for my state of mind. Because remember, coming from school, you're still very playful. The only thing I was really thinking about at the time was fame, you know, money, how to utilize and how to use what I am able to do in order to gain for myself at the time, you know. So I don't think that my heart necessarily was at the right place at the time. I mean, I'm young, and most of these idols winners, and you know, even internationally, that start off the same way I did find themselves crashing really soon because you have no clue what the industry entails. You have no clue what the depth of this career choice really is. And I think the thing that I would have done differently is to basically educate myself a bit more on what it is that I am going to get myself into, because starting first year in the adulthood, 18 years old, being exposed to all of this fame, all of these people screaming your name, coming into the venue with your name printed on t-shirts, like shake and get your head, you know what I mean? 100%. And you kind of lose the core purpose that it should have been, So I would have definitely educated myself a bit more based on the financial side of things. Also my personal confidence, how I should not, depend too much on other people's opinions of myself, of my gift. That can make and break an artist. So definitely a don't is to not just, a lot of people say, and Nike says it, just do it. A lot of people think, that is the way to go about everything, and I differ. I think my view on that differs, because before just doing something for the sake of doing it, you should know what it is that your reason is for doing it. You should make sure that your heart is pure. You should know that your financial knowledge is on par, because we make all that money when we come back. We meet all of these people. We know nothing about networking. We know nothing about building strong relationships with people. And we just ride the wave. And before you know it, 5 years down the line, you realize, now with the knowledge that you've gained, you realize, if I took the time to educate myself more on what I've learned in the moment and in the experience, I could have approached the situation a lot more maturely and a lot more differently. And so that is something that I would definitely advise people to do in whatever industry it is that you go into. Don't just jump into things for the sake of wanting to do it and because you love doing it. It's important to educate yourself. It's important to know what you're getting yourself into. That's one thing that I would have done differently. The other thing, on the other hand, which can also be really contradicting, is to just follow your heart at the same time,
Yeah.
But discernment is extremely important. Awesome. And having people in your life that not only supports your vision, but also supports your well-being, and that knows, for example, like your parents, I was in a very amazing position with family being really supportive of what I do. Coming from a musical family, this was something that everybody was able to do and everybody wanted to do, but nobody had the balls to actually take the chance. So that support system was definitely there. But in terms of having people in the industry, like, for example, Loyiso Bala, whom I only met a couple of months later, that could be that teacher to 100%. Me, that can learn me and teach me the ropes, and this is what you do and this is what you don't, this is how you conduct yourself, this is what but at the same time you can only learn those things through experience. So avail yourself to that knowledge. As you move, keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, keep that connections connected, because it can get you ahead and you can really think like, and one thing that you said was, it's basically, I'm in the position to choose who I want to surround myself by. And I think that statement is not entirely true, because everybody's purpose in your life is strategic by a greater power, by a higher power. Everyone that you meet at some point in your life fits a part of the puzzle that you don't necessarily know that you need. So when you show people a way and you have this big head about, yourself and what you've achieved, you forget that down the road, or like to say, the ladder of success goes up and down. So somebody that you had rejected while coming up can one day be the person that opens a door for you 100%. That you will need. So everything is a tit and a tat. Everything is a this and a that. It's important to
dropping bars.
to just keep the balance and to just have a good heart and have an open mind to growth and learning.
I love that so much. And what I took out and listen, everything that you said there. I mean, even so there were certain things that I didn't 100% disagree with, but you always paint the picture so I can see the perspective, and that's what I love about you. Like. For me, the one thing that you spoke about, and I think it's so important, and I want to ask you a few more questions about that, is support, right?
Yes.
And I think support from friends and family members are so important, right? But it needs to be honest support. It needs to be like, yo, dude, you got a gift.
Yeah.
You got a gift. Like, for real, you got a gift. You need to pursue this. This is like, I've seen other people do the same thing, but the way that you do it, dude. You know what I mean? It needs to be authentic. It can't. You can't say that to the guy and the guy's whack, man. Cause
I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But also support specifically from family. I kind of think, this is my view on it, right? It's my own observation and opinion. I kind of think you need to support your kid emotionally, man. Like. Give your kid, like, okay, listen, I can see, once again, honest, I can see that you're really gifted in a specific area.
Yeah.
I'm going to come to the shows. I'm going to be, like, if it's vocal coaching, or I'm going to try my best, to
be that support structure.
To be that support structure. I think it becomes a bit tricky when the parents, like, financially invest too much.
Okay.
When the artist does not learn how to manage the finances themselves, so they play a gig and, okay, cool, this money must go to my essentials, this money must go to my savings, and this money is for me, so I'm going to buy a dope, I'm going to buy me like a pair of tackies or whatever the case may be, right? Because normally the culture is we get paid and then we blow, right? You understand? And that's why I really took to what you were saying, with that, when you were like everywhere and you were making the bucks and you were so young, but did you have the finance? Do you know what I'm saying? So when you have that organic sort of growth and natural structure, and your parents are very strict or disciplined financially with you, saying like, "Look, you need to manage your money accordingly." So we're not going to give you any money for this. So you take your gig money and you down the line. That plays such an important part in how artists make good business decisions.
Yes. Yeah, because it's a business besides it being an industry.
Exactly, and that's why I see a lot of artists, right, that go on these competitions, and all due credit to these competitions. I'm not going to badmouth them, because the amount of awareness and marketing and exposure they give the artists is second to none. We can't deny that. I mean, yes, they have their flaws, but I mean, in that regard, they're really good. But what you find is the artists suffer because they're having everything done for them, and once you pull that carpet under their feet, they fall because they're not used to doing things by themselves. So I kind of think like there needs to be a level of support, specifically just from an emotional point of view, right? Maybe a little bit for financial things, for like, okay, coaching, music lessons, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to the artist sort of getting paid for their craft, there needs to be some sort of financial discipline to help the artist, sort of gain that business knowledge moving forward. Yes. I don't know what you think about that.
I think that's extremely important, and it's a mistake that I found myself making and still find myself making, because
the tackies are so lekker, man.
You understand? It's lekker to spend the money, It's lekker to spend the money, and I believe that money that is not growing is not money. You can save and you
sound
can,
like an accountant now,
and you can whatever. But if that money is not making more money for itself constantly, at some point it's going to run dry. So it's extremely important to have that knowledge and to also invest in yourself once you do have the money. Invest in yourself. Pay somebody to financially advise you. You know what I mean? It's important to put yourself in a position of power and of knowledge and education, because and it goes back to when your parents had to pay for your school fees and all those things. It wasn't even for themselves that they made that investment,
100%.
But because they value you so much, they want to put you in a better position. So for yourself, I think it's important to value yourself enough to know that I can invest in myself if I want to see, a better future for myself and whoever comes after me. So 100% agree on that. That's power.
So obviously, with this whole pandemic going on, right? We know that there's a lot of negativity and rightly so around the industry at the moment, right? But we can't deny that there's also a lot of silver linings, right? There's also new opportunities and room for growth and almost a feeling of evening of the playing field, because everyone sort of is now on the same level kind of vibes, right? What are some of those silver linings in your opinion, and how do you think artists can benefit from them, from those
okay, I can just
linings?
Speak from my personal experience, and one thing that really stood out for me, or the silver lining for me, was now not having to make time, but using the time that you have. Before the lockdown and before coronavirus, I think everything was all over the place and people were just hassling and, trying to do gigs and trying to get work and trying to get paid and forgetting about the growth of their creativity. And for me personally, I've never written this much music. I never knew it was a gift that I had. I had no idea that I was as good as I am at writing. And so there's something about silence, and there's something about peace, and there's something about a sudden stop to everything, where you have no other option but to stay in that situation, to use it to your advantage, because once things do get back to normal, you now have a bag full of things that you have created. So definitely use the spare time, even outside of this lockdown and coronavirus. Use your spare time and that time that you now have to not go anywhere. The money that you would have spent on those things, invest in yourself. Save, you know what I mean? So I definitely, the highlight for me, the silver line for me, was that I found new gifts and new purpose in this time,
Crazy.
So I literally, in a period of one day, I could write 3 songs.
She was
full
crazy.
up. And it was never something that I ever
could do or try to
I
do.
never really made the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it felt like there was never time, but there was always time. I would be chilling, drinking a dope, whatever, and in that, level 2, buddy, we we made it. But definitely the creativity that comes with it, and the freedom and the time to do that, and to really grow as a person, to sit with your thoughts and to work through them. As a creative, I think it's extremely important to realize that it can get really messy in our heads, because we see pictures in a different way, we hear sounds in a different way, we artists, you understand? So it's important to take the time to find structure within that mess in your head. And that can be, battles with... what's the term I'm looking for? Personality disorders or mental disorders. Because as creatives and as a creative being, we really do forget that with that mess, a lot of things can become messy in our lives. You know what I mean? Within, because it's in our mind and it's in our heart, 100%. And we want to create so badly, and there's so much ideas in your head. It kind of just shifts everything all over the place, and you forget the importance of structure. So use this time, and I did use the time to figure out what childhood traumas have I not dealt with, what because those things eventually show through your art 100%. And it shows through your work. And if you're out here to inspire and to motivate people, you should know what you're putting out 100%. And you should know where you at within yourself. So dealing with those emotional traumas, dealing with things that happened forever ago that you were so busy that you couldn't deal with it at the time, use the time now to get yourself at a more stable mental state. So that's another silver lining that stood out for me.
Dude, you said so much amazing things, and I'm going to touch on a few. Like, we had an artist on here not too long ago, and she basically said that she would write from a place of purity and honesty, so things that she went through, like in her childhood, right? But she would never perform it until she was healed.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of something that you talk about is like use your art to sort of filter all that busyness and messiness. You know, and because we have to get it out. It's unexplainable. We have to get it out in some way, shape, or form. And not all of it is hits. Not all of it is magic, but we need to get it out. But what always stuck with me is the fact that you said, I only performed it once I was healed. Because you need to have that discretion of what to put out and when to put it out.
Yes, and sometimes just on that, sometimes people don't need to hear everything that you've written.
100%. Sometimes it could just be
it's
for you.
It's just for you. It's therapeutic. It's
100%.
something that, it's a way that you can use to express yourself.
100%. Oh, well said. Tagline TM. Keep it raw, express yourself. Love it. We can use that in the intro. No, the way she said it. Please, guys, get it. Liam, cut that and cool. Listen, I think when it comes to what you said about peace and clarity, it's important. I believe that, you know, peace is happiness at rest. You know what I mean? And it's very important that we find peace through our creativity. That we take the time.
Yes.
That we put time aside like we do for chilling with friends and families or exercising, that we prioritize that time of us just being with ourselves and us being creative. There is something, like you said, therapeutic, but there's almost something, there's an energy that takes you away or out of this world that only a creative will understand. You're not hungry. I'm sure when you're writing those songs, you are not hungry. You are not distracted. You are in a place of focus, in a place of flow, right? And
definitely,
you know, it's such a good space to be in. And if we prioritize that space, and especially, I think what this pandemic did to creatives, like you were saying, is we are starting to make art again, and not about Kagi. The song needs to be pop. Because you know the market and exactly this is just listen to this track. Here's the reference. Do you know what I'm saying? Like what we are creating as creatives now is real.
It's honest.
It's truthful. People can feel it. You're hearing songs on the radio that are slow.
Yes.
Now that's an indication because
life slowed down.
Exactly. Life slowed down. People want to hear the lyrics.
Yes.
All of a sudden.
They're listening now.
Because they can't go to the Jewel and dance to the beat.
That's because long sleeves on out.
Everything's closed, guys. Sorry, you're gonna have to listen to these slow jams. But you understand what I'm saying, and I think what you've said, what the silver linings was just has given creatives time to be at peace, to be at rest, to actually just become who they were meant to be, like you said, purpose.
Yeah.
And I think that is so beautiful.
And sometimes you don't like the results. Sometimes you don't like what you see.
100%.
Because a lot of the times when I find myself writing, because I play a little bit of guitar, just enough to write, I find that I write really dark music. And it's like, you know, where's this coming from? So it definitely is something that needs to be done. And the cool thing is that there are so many people now that can relate to that dark place, if not 100%. Everybody. So that is also the music that needs to be put out, 100%. Not just you know, love and kindness.
I agree.
And happiness.
We need to.
All of us are dealing with deep shit, and that needs to be, light needs to be shed on that. Because somebody needs to feel like, I'm not alone. You know, like there's somebody else that is in a position that is better than what I am in, and they feel the same way that I do about certain things, and that helps people to get back up and feel like I'm not alone. There's somebody else that's there with me.
The two words I want to say after that statement is preach and amen.
Hallelujah.
Because exactly, our job as creatives is to allow other people to see.
To be the voice.
We need to be the voice, and we need to showcase serious topics from different perspectives, you know. So you could do it dramatically, you could do it in comedy, you know, but at the end of the day, you're helping people see things from the other side. How does it look from Zoe's side? You know what I mean? How does my eyebrows look from
I do brows as well.
Yours on fleek.
I do brows as well. I got you.
My nigga. But you understand what I'm saying, man? Like, you know what I mean? It's very important for us as creatives to paint that picture, to write that song.
To write that sad song.
Exactly, so that people can relate and like the words, you took it out of my mouth, like, so that they can feel like they're not the only one. Because sometimes, I mean, even me, you feel like, yeah, it's only me that I'm going through this.
And because nobody's speaking about it, you feel lonely.
Yeah.
You feel alone.
And I think we were living in a time where everyone was just pretending, bro. Everyone was just like pretending to be happy.
Half of these people now speaking out, it's like, I thought you were good for the longest time.
Like that's the reason why I didn't help you, bro. Because I thought you were better off than me.
I genuinely did not know. You genuinely did not express that. So how can somebody help you if you don't show that you need
help?
You need a hand, yeah.
And I think it's so important now that artists, like you said, they had this period of, reflection and introspection, and now they are creating truthful pieces of art. And I hope that we've learned our lesson and we continue to do this and we prioritize this, because that is our job. Let's get the right people, like you said, let's get the right people. Let's pay the right people to distribute our music. Let's pay the right people to do the finance and the investing.
To do their job.
To do their job. But let us create, man.
Let us do
what we were born to do, man. And I think that is so important, that we are not just confined to creating within a box.
Yeah. And to also try and tick too many boxes.
Yeah.
Because you want to be that independent. Yeah. People were created to do specific things, and we should allow them to help us better, ourselves in those aspects.
No, 100%. And Zoe, like for the people listening out there, you've traveled the world, right? You've seen
2 countries.
Yeah, but I mean, let's call it the world.
Yeah.
For the sake of it. But you've traveled, and you've spent a lot of time.
Yes.
Right. You spent a lot of time there, and like you have such great perspective now since you've done all of these different things. Can you just briefly take us through your journey from like when you started as a kid singing, probably in church, I'm not sure, but probably in church,
100%.
to where you are now, just some of the punchlines, some of the highlights, some of the lessons.
So for those who don't know, started out at the age of 6 years old, did my first performance at the age of 6 years old, cried throughout that whole performance. I was a nervous wreck, but I finished the song. And, that was kind of like, to my family, it was like, this is something you should do, even if it's going to get difficult at some point. Even though you're not going to know what it is that you're even doing, your heart is there, and it's what you're supposed to be doing, so it's going to just come naturally. And ever since then, it's something that I knew I was supposed to be doing, and I took it really seriously for my whole life up to this point. I've not tried to do anything else. I've not... and it's also something that I feel I could have done differently in terms of, seeing what else I'm good at. Because at the place that I'm in right now, in my mind, and because of my experiences, I believe that this is the only thing that I know how to do, and finding myself in this position with the pandemic and everything, just coming back to that, with no gigs and no work and no source of income, you find yourself thinking, what else can I do to put food on the table now? There's no shows. There's no hype around this industry that I'm in. Everything's shut down. How else can I make money? How else can I put food on the table? How else can I continue to share my story? And I applaud you for doing this, because it's something that should have been done a long time ago. But at the same time, everything happens for a reason. So highlights in just going back to your question, highlights in my life thus far was definitely being able to perform whenever I get the opportunity to, from the age of 6, whether it's a modeling show, whether it's it wasn't always about the money, when I started out. So that is something that I want to carry out throughout my life. It shouldn't always be that this is a way that I can put food on the table, but also to just live in the moment and enjoy what I'm able to do. And I find so many people ask me the weirdest question, like, what does it feel like to have a gift that you have? Like, how does that feel to know that when you sing in the bathroom, it's actually...
Lekker.
Because when you leave the bathroom and you sing in your room, it's going to sound the same because you actually have that gift. And they're like, don't you feel lekker when you think about that? And I'm like, I forgot that
I'm so envious.
it's like, I forgot that it's literally a present that I got from God. It's literally something that I should enjoy. Because when somebody gives you a gift, even if you could buy it for yourself, there's just a appreciative nature and energy around that. It's like, I'm going to enjoy this so much more because somebody thought to give this to me. Somebody thought about me when they went and got this gift for me. And it's the same with our gifts that God has given us.
Crazy.
And to remember that, this is something that is lekker to have, and I'm privileged to have it, and I should be really grateful, and I should practice humbleness, and just enjoyment, just have fun with it. So having fun with my gift is definitely something that I will continue to do for the rest of my life, to inspire others that have a gift as well, to just enjoy the ride, to take that pressure off from yourself as well. And all the pressure that the industry and the world just comes with as a whole, to just ride the wave and enjoy what God has given you, and to just love what you do.
100%.
So that's definitely highlights that stood out for me.
And I think that's very important. Is to sometimes we need to live in the present. Sometimes we just need to, and I love the fact
literally live in the present.
100%.
Literally.
And I thought, wow, great. I just thought about it now.
That took you a minute. That went over your head.
Wow, I just drop bombs. I don't even realize, But I think it's important for us to realize that, we only get one shot at this thing called life, and like you said, planning is important. We get that. The planning is important because we only have one shot. So we want to make sure whatever we're going to commit to, right, we're going to be happy along the way. And I think that was kind of the ethos of your statement. And I think we just need to make sure that, one, we're putting in the work, but also we also putting in time to celebrate the milestones.
Yes.
Taking time to, every time we're on stage, this is a gift. I'm grateful. I'm just grateful.
I'm so blessed to have this.
Because there's other people that just don't have.
That just don't.
They just
They just have to do a 9 to 5.
100%.
And they have no other choice.
100%. And singing, like I kind of have the mindset of, listen, you can become anything you want to do if you want to put the work in, right? But singing is probably one of those other things that you can just say, either you can or you can't.
Yeah,
it's simple.
I think with anything actually, anyone can do it, but not everyone's good at it.
Yeah.
Not everyone was born to do it.
Yeah.
Some people can do it because they've taught themselves how.
Yeah.
And then you can go into studio and a producer can fix your voice for you.
Yeah.
But if you have the natural ability to do something,
it's crazy.
It's a whole other ballgame.
It's crazy. It's effortless. It's like, even, when you watch sport, you watch, players like Lionel Messi, you watch players like Roger Federer, just the way they do. They're just the way they do. They're just the way they be.
They just do.
You know what I'm saying? They effortless. They were born to do it. And there's other great soccer players and tennis players, but the way that they do it, it's just like, these guys were born to do this.
It's what they're supposed to be doing.
It's such an interesting conversation. They call it in science nurture versus nature. And I think at the end of the day, it's probably a combination of the two in some way, shape or form, because to make it in this industry, you can't only rely on your talent.
That's the thing.
You know what I mean? So it takes a little bit of nurturing, like you said, like taking the time to understand yourself, and if you really want it, but also just realizing that you have a gift, and the combination of the two, I think, is extremely important. And then also you can't sometimes, specifically in the entertainment industry, you'll never be as appreciated as you want to be if you're just not naturally gifted. So there always needs to be that balance of nurture and nature.
Balance is key.
I think that's probably the highlight of this conversation, because we spoke about a lot of, like you said, different things.
It's contradictory.
And the whole paradox of life, you know what I mean? So everything, like, you everything, but you're also nothing. That kind of So yeah,
Thanks.
Zoe. Listen. Before I ask my last question, firstly, let me give you a whole bunch of compliments. Thank you for being my sister. Thank you for being a close friend. Thank you for always jumping on the shows when I needed you. We've done some work in studio which came out absolutely amazing.
Appreciate that.
No, of course, and we've always had this relationship where we understood that our intention is the same, which is to help.
Yes.
And I hope
Relationship.
100%, and I hope this relationship lasts forever till the end of time.
Same.
And just keep doing what you're doing. Keep shining. You are a star. You are light in the darkness.
Appreciate
it.
And dark in the darkness.
Dark in the darkness. And just don't stop. Don't give up. Like you are admired. You are admired, and you are loved by many. So my last question. Before I ask my last question, because that was just a whole bunch of compliments, is where can people find Miss Zoe Zana?
All right, they can find me on all social media platforms besides Twitter.
Yeah. Because it's a very negative platform.
Yes.
No, I'm joking.
And also I forgot my passwords. I don't know how to get back in there. I've got like 30,000 followers or something. I don't know how to get back in there. It's something I struggle with passwords. So just the people know. So they can find me on Facebook. My personal Facebook is Zoe Zana. Which is Zhandre, which is my baby sister that passed on his first name. So I've kind of used that name to live
her legacy.
So that's my personal, because that's a personal thing. So that's Zoe Zana. And then my fan page is Zoe Zana, or my support structured page, rather, is Zoe Zana, as is. And then my Instagram is also at Zoe Zana. So they can find me on all of those. They can definitely hit the follow button. They can definitely comment and request and, whatever needs or whatever coming from, different aspects in the industry, whether it's business-wise, whether it's just wanting to get me on a show, or I'm at a place where I'm very open-minded about these things, because I truly believe that we need each other. We cannot make it without each other. And teamwork makes the dream work,
100%.
And so people should definitely hit me up if there's anything that they need, if there's anything they feel they would like me to be a part of. Obviously, I would do my homework and check if your heart's at the right place, because, in this industry, people can suck you dry. But at the same time, discernment, So
100%.
hit me up on any of my social media platforms, not only for the follows, because really it's bigger than that for me. So, yeah, I would appreciate the support, and I'll try my best to
just
support
before I ask
them.
And just before I ask the last question, I think that's important, what you said. And you've always been a type of person, like you said, because you just love what you do, that you're so open. There's a lot of artists that you'd probably have to convince to perform at your event, and rightly so. There's nothing wrong with that as well. But what I loved about you is, I think there's something beautiful in art whereby you never know. You never know who's watching. You never, so many times.
And you never know who's next.
Exactly. And sometimes, it's normally the events, where you thought, should I? Fuck it, okay, I'm going to perform. And something magical happens.
Yes.
I've heard that story from artists so many times.
Yeah, it's kind of like the story where they say when somebody invites you out unexpectedly and you have the best night of your life.
It's crazy.
And you could have either said no, and you could have just stayed in bed, but because you took that
100%.
chance,
You know what I
memories
mean?
were made, man.
People meet their business partners that way. People meet their life partners that way. Do you know what I mean? They meet their best friends that way. And I think there's something in, just that. Let's live in the present. Let's see where this takes us. That is so beautiful. My last question for you, Ms. Zoe Zana, has been absolutely phenomenal as always. How, as creatives, do we make this industry a better place?
Working hand in hand with each other, definitely. Giving that underdog an opportunity. Being in the position where you can lift somebody higher and you can be that ladder of success to them. Avail yourself. Discern between the people that are out there to use you and the people that just really needs your help as well, because all the big names that we can think of in the industry needed a bigger name to get them to where they are. And whether that is record labels, whether that is a manager, whether that is a financial advisor, or just a friend, be a good person. Be a good person, have a good heart, and give people chances, especially in our industry. Definitely give people chances. Don't turn the blind eye just because that person hasn't, achieved as much as you have as yet, because you never know who's next. And it's not just about that. It's not just about, I'm going to use you because you might, be at a better position one day where you can open the door for me, but rather have an honesty about that,
100%.
I want to help you because I want to see you succeed in life, and I hope that you have that same heartbeat for me and everybody else coming after you, because it's those kind of mindsets that is shaping and shifting the industry.
100%.
So definitely to make it a better place is to be there for each other, to enjoy the ride, to support each other's events and each other's movements, not just financially, but share that post,
100%. So
like
important.
and comment and show that support. When somebody sends you a request to like their page, it takes nothing. Really, you don't have to pay. You don't have to even watch the
100%.
movement. You don't even have to physically be there. It's literally just a tap on your phone. So, do that. And also, create.
100%.
Keep creating, even if it's just for yourself. Keep filling that bag of goods, and hopefully one day you'll have more than enough to give back to the world. The industry is big enough for everyone, so let's not be selfish. Let's not have a single-minded mindset. Let's not be overly confident about ourselves. Remain humble. Give. It's about kindness, it's about patience, it's about love, and just love each other. Love each other in the real, honest, genuine form of love. Love each other like God loves you. Love your neighbor as much as you love yourself, and just be the best that you can be. Keep shining. It's gonna get dark, it's gonna feel lonely, but you're not alone. There's always somebody out there watching. So keep inspiring and motivate and be yourself. Just be yourself and love yourself, even in the mess. Find peace in the messiness and deal with your trauma. So a bit of everything, man. a bit of everything.
Zoe, that was absolutely beautiful. It was so well put together. I hope you never realized that, because I felt every single word. It was beautiful. It felt
that came from my heart.
No, it was
It
was perfect. I want to cry.
Then you don't want me to cover the bars that I've written down, my nigga.
You had to see.
I'm going to get a copy of this.
Listen, Zoe, it's been an absolute blast. I wish we had more time, but thank you so much. I appreciate you.
it.
Just keep doing what you're doing. We're all huge fans, so keep shining.
Same to you, buddy. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.